At ease. It's your boy Immortal. So the other day I made a post on my Instagram page, right? And I was talking about, how female nature is pretty much just misunderstood, right? And a brother commented on that post and he asked me the question, a brother named Awakened Helper. He says, what's your view on marriage now? Now I gave the brother, an answer that was, maybe 2 or 3 sentences long. And if you want to check that out, please feel free to go on my Instagram and check out my response. But what I realized this morning is that I didn't give the brother a firm yes or no on if I agree with marriage at this point. And I'm going to say this. This is going to go against several things I've said in the past, when it comes to marriage. But I'm saying right now, on June 22nd, 2021, I, Immortal, agree with marriage. Now, having said that, I'll say this. I also believe that 90+% of people that are currently married shouldn't be.
Is it not written in your law that ye are gods? You understand what I'm saying? So it just depends on what level you on based on, whether you're human or whether you're immortal.
Now, the reason why I say that 90+% of people that are currently married shouldn't be is because in my mind, I feel like 3 primary boxes need to be checked before you even think about going down that road with a woman, right? 1, you and this woman should be building something together. I don't care if it's a plantation farm type, lifestyle, a business or just a brand based on your name, right? So that's 1 box. The second box is y'all should have plans of reproducing. You should be, in other words, you should have, some lineage going toward what you're creating, looking for the long haul. And the third box is your decisions need to be based long term. In other words, you lose a little of the self gratification in this life, and you're thinking for generations down the road. If those 3 boxes aren't checked, if that's not an agreement between both people, y'all should be talking about getting married. Now let me be clear, because when I say the word marriage, sometimes I go a different direction. For this instance, for this video, I'm strictly talking about legal state marriage. I'm talking about state marriage, right? But because, and the reason I'm saying this is because if you're going to go the state marriage route, the only reason a person or 2 people would do that is in the event, if they've created this business or brand or whatever, they need something in place, where 200 years down the road, 300 years down the road, where that business or brand is still thriving and they're no longer on this planet, they need something in place to say, you know what? We were an item. We were a couple. We were together. You don't need any entities, trying to say, oh, well, we don't know if this, this business came from this. You need something in place for when you're long gone, right? But when I talk about marriage, you've heard enough videos where I say, you have to understand that the marriage takes place well before people go state marriage. A lot of people say that getting that signed, the dotted line is a true marriage. That's not the true marriage. And I'll give you an example, right? So I got married at 21 years old. I was married for the span of 10 years. Me and my wife, we had fun. We did some great things in life. We got the bag. We had a child. We did great things in life, and we ended up getting divorced, right? We were legally married, right? And I fast forward to another relationship that I got in that was pretty much the same length, roughly the same amount of time to a young lady. And I'm talking about, my ex from, if you haven't seen Beautiful Faces of Evil, check that out. I had to add that plug. But when I look at both of them, I look at the scenario, right? I was legally married. Now I'm in this other situation. I looked at this woman just like my wife. There was no difference. She had the same wedding ring. She had the same benefits that my wife had. In other words, she was covered under health and dental, all kind of benefits. She was on my life insurance policy, where if something happened to me, she was going to be taken care of. She had all the benefits of my wife. Matter of fact, she probably had more benefits because at that time I was in a better position where, you know, she could have easily quit her job if she wanted to and did her own thing. So when I look at those two scenarios, they were identical. They were identical. So that lets you know that the whole legal state marriage, it doesn't hold as much weight as people think, because, you know, I think marriage is a completely different thing. But when it comes to state marriage, I think that the majority of people shouldn't be married. Now, when I think of both of those relationships that I was in, right, neither one of those had to be state marriages or quote unquote legal marriages, but because neither one of those relationships checked all three boxes. You know, in other words, when it comes to marriage, guys, we've you know, the reason why most people are against it is because, to be honest, marriage wasn't set up for the common man. The man that has no identity, the man that has no dream of expanding, the man that's not really focused on legacy, the man that's not focused on building brands for generations, he has no business even thinking about legal marriage. I'm talking about legal marriage. There's no reason to involve the state in that. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand, man, that marriage is really set up for legal marriage. Marriage is really set up for, you know, it's really some king shit. You know, it's really set up for royalty. In other words, you have a lot of common men and women trying to play like they're royalty when they're not. You know what I'm saying? When I say it's set up for royalty or it's king shit, I mean, when people go into marriage, you have to take this serious. When that contract says "to death do us part," that right there alone should let you know that, hey, you know what, this is in a whole nother jurisdiction. We take that stuff lightly. And I'm telling you, the common man that has a 9-to-5 and he's relying to just barely make it and die living off some 401k, he's not set up for marriage. The man that's not building something for generations long down the road, he's not set up for marriage. The man that, you know, the man that doesn't have a proper plan in place for when he dies, for everything to keep going, that man is not set up for marriage. And the thing is, the reason why I say a lot of guys, or the reason why I think a lot of guys knock marriage, including myself, when I used to knock marriage, it was because I didn't understand it. So in other words, when brothers are sitting there talking about, you know, don't get married, don't do this, it's because the laws are jacked up unless you understand that it's for a whole another group of people. You know what I'm saying? In other words, look at it like this, man. And it makes sense when I sit back and look at it. Let's compare like an Oprah to Jay-Z and Beyonce, right? Now you have Oprah and Stedman, right? Like, why aren't Oprah and Stedman married? There's no reason for them to get married, right? Oprah has built this brand that's just hers. Stedman has his own thing going on. They love each other, so they're together. Why would they get married? They aren't reproducing. They aren't building something together for the future. When Oprah's long gone, she's probably going to hand that off to Gail or somebody else, or some corporation is going to take over the Oprah network, and it's just going to go until it dies. What are they getting married for if they aren't checking those boxes? On the other hand, look at Beyonce and Jay-Z, right? They're building an entity. They're making financial moves for Little Blue and those other two kids, man. They're making moves for long-term, you know. They're set up for a marriage. They're living their lives like royalty. They're moving like kings. You know what I'm saying? And when I say moving like kings, this is what I mean, man. Like, you know, like people don't understand. Like when I say when it goes back to those vows, death do us part. Like people aren't really, the common man, the common woman aren't really understanding or comprehending what they're reading. You know what I'm saying? When people decide to get legally married, you have to understand that you're going for the long haul regardless. You know what I'm saying? That's when you're trying to move like the Rockefellers. You're trying to move like, you know the Johnson and Johnson family. You're setting, and the thing is, when you move like that, the petty stuff that people get divorced over, those things They don't even show up on the register. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at the Clintons. The Clintons are building a legacy. Look at when Bill Clinton got caught up with all that Monica Lewinsky stuff, and she's doing the thing under the desk and all that stuff. Yeah, you heard all that stuff on the news, but at what point in time did you hear Miss Clinton say, you know what, I'm filing for divorce? Because people with this mindset don't move like that. They just don't move like that. Look at Jay-Z and Beyonce. You know, she can get on tracks all day and talk about, yeah, Jay-Z, you know, Becky with the good hair and all this stuff. But you never heard Beyonce say, you know what, we're getting a divorce. Because when people get married and they're building an entity for, you know, 200, 300 years down the road, they move different. They understand that, hey, you know what, I signed up for better or worse. This is the worst. I signed up for this. I knew this could happen, but I'm building something for a legacy. I'm telling you, 90+% of the people aren't built for that. Aren't built for that, man. It's a different mindset. So do I believe in marriage? Yes. I believe in marriage on all levels. But I think instead of brothers knocking it, brothers need to say, you know what, I simply don't understand it. Brothers need to say, you know what, man, these laws are jacking us up. We're losing in court, yada, yada, yada. Like, it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? And just say, I don't understand it. I believe in marriage on all levels. I believe as far as legal marriage, the majority of people that are legally married, they shouldn't be in that situation. It's actually adding stress to the marriage because now you have this legally binding paperwork associated, you know, with your love for each other. And if you're not in the mindset of, hey, you know what, we're building a legacy, you know, we're building something to be around in the next 400 years. If that's not your mindset, then this paperwork, brother, it's going to be a burden on you. It's actually going to be a burden on you. You know what I'm saying? I think the majority of people that want to get married just need to, you know, technically just date and be together forever. You know, jump the broom or whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? Have a traditional ceremony and live your lives, you know, just being happy. Because this is the majority of people. This is how they move. You know, when I say you need to think for future generations, most people are seeking self-gratification. Most people want to have the nice homes, the nice cars, the nice clothes of this life. And then when they die, you look on Facebook and everybody's doing a GoFundMe or whatever. These type people aren't built for marriage because they aren't building something to still be around when they're gone. You know what I'm saying? If a man is not trying to expand, if a man is not thinking long term, then brothers, I'm telling you, being legally married is not for you. And the thing is, I know some brothers, man, that are married and they should be legally married. Man, I know some youngsters, man, that they're married, they're having kids, and now they're building businesses. You know what I'm saying? For future generations. But I also know some brothers that just got married because Joanne had a fat ass. I know some sisters that just got married because brother was 6'4", and he had a couple of dollars in his bank account. He had no plan to reproduce with her. He had no idea. He had no plan to make sure her and the kids were still good in the event something happened to him. Grandkids were still good in the event something happened to him. I'm telling you, marriage is not for everyone. And like I said before, the reason a lot of guys talk down on it, the reason I talked down on it when I did, is because I misunderstood it. You know, I was still thinking like the common man, and marriage is not set up for common people. It's for king shit.